Hey, we just got this new machine in. It's a brand new 855E, well S855E. We sold our 16 model, been 2-3 weeks ago now, and just got this one in. And today's actually first day using it. It's a 23 model that was built in 22. It even says it on the tag. And if people don't know what a shovel machine does, it's pretty much same cab as their track cutters, the exact same thing. They just put a different boom on it and they changed some of the pumps around. But all our 855s, well, both of them we have now, have 36-foot boom. We run Rotobeck buckets, live heels, the whole 9 yards.
It's two different types of logging. You have your conventional logging, which is on the heel, and then you have what we do is shovel logging. Shovel logging is a little different. It takes a little bit more thinking and a little bit more preparation into it. We run 2 jobs. We got a conventional job that runs our small crew that runs the heels and stuff. They cut a little bit of wetland sometimes.
Shoveling wood is unique. You're running on wood all the time. A lot of people don't realize that when you're running on wood, you're not destroying the topsoil, you're not rutting it. As you see many logging jobs today, it looks like almost the land has been destroyed. It's just a matter of the way it was logged. You got to leave the land in as good or better shape than you find it, and that's our philosophy to do that, to always, access or whatever it may be, always take care of the landowner's land.
You'd have to see it from a drone to really understand it, but when we shovel log, my brother goes in with the cutter and cuts a road down, and he throws trees in front of him sideways to walk on that stay under the road, and he takes the trees and throws them behind him. And when he gets to the end of the road, he turns around and brings a streak back out, and he throws the tops to the road. So you got your main road and your tops are going like this with your butts far away from you. And then when he gets back to the other end, he'll cut another strip down and another strip back. So that means you have 2 streaks on one side, 1 streak on the other.
Your cutter man and your shovel man have to be in sync. They got to be friends, real good friends. And my brother runs the shovel, so we kind of talk and get everything figured out.
When he finishes a road, I'll go in behind him, which most time he's several roads ahead. I don't even try to catch him because I know I'm not going to unless his cutter's broke down for a month. Going behind him, I'll take where he throws the tops to the road, and I'll take the tops and bring them into the road, and I'll patch up the road behind me as I'm going down for the tractors so it'll hold up. And when I'm patching it up, I'm also making pulls at the same time for the tractors to go. I put a pull up there on the road, and tractor just has to back down the road to me, grab the pull, and go on. With the second streak, it can be tricky. A lot of guys shovel log different, everything. But the way we do it is, or the way I've always done it is, I'll go down the road and stay on the road, get everything I can, and then when I'm picking, because I pick the road back up when I come back out, and when I go down the road to pick it up, I'll actually grab the second. If I couldn't grab part of that second streak from the road there, I'll kind of walk and either pole myself or I'll take some trees, and set them down where I can walk on, because it don't take long to bury a piece of machinery out here, especially these. I think they're between 60,000 to 65,000 pounds, and you're in a wetland area, water, mud, everything else. It don't take long, and there's been several blocks we've logged where if you weren't paying attention, you could go slam out of sight.
We're a pretty well tight family. We glad we can all work together. A lot of people can't say that they can't work together as a family, and that's a shame. We all should get together and work as a family.
Like I said, this is a brand new shovel, and we just always call it a shovel. Some guys call it a shovel loader. This one here has a D7 undercarriage on it, which our other one has a D6. It wasn't an option at the time. Now they're putting the D7s under them, and you can get a D6 as well. Our 855 cutter that my brother runs, it's got the D7 as well, and the benefit with that is you get a little more ground clearance. They do slides on them, so that's a big plus, helping with the rollers and all, not having to replace as much when you get wear and tear on them, and it just gives you a lot more ground clearance, you know. And then in a wetland area, the trees are so budded, you ain't gonna always get it cut down. That little bit extra ground clearance helps out a lot. We also, on all our machines, our cutters and shovel machines, we always keep a toolbox in the back. And some people say, oh, you know, well, why do you need a toolbox? Because a lot of the places we are, you aren't gonna get a truck to you, and if it's a bad enough leak or something really messes up, you know, you can't just walk it out, or, you know, like you're pulling yourself, you have a main line bust, the main hydraulic line, it's you're gonna be thankful you got tools in the bag. And you always try to prepare, you know, I wouldn't always say the bare necessities, because we have usually more than what we need sometimes, but when it comes to you know, being out there in the woods, especially if our mechanic has to come to us, whatever, you want him to have to take as least as possible. You don't want him to have to pack up half of his truck, you know, and bring it back there with him. Especially if he's got to catch a ride with a tractor or something. And anyway, it makes a big difference having what you need on there. Or, you know, if it's something simple, you know, us as operators, we can hop out there and fix it and get it straight as well. On these E-model cabs, they have a lot more, I guess not many blind spots, you could say. You got a bigger window here, and it just seems like you can see out of it a whole lot better. Like I said, you can kind of see more what you're doing from your sides and all. And this one here actually has the skylight camera, which is on the front of the windshield, tucked in behind the door, and you have a camera on the back, and there's a button where you can swap back and forth between both of them, and it has its own monitor. And the one that goes to the boom there, it's actually better for a cutter, where you can see the tops of the trees, you know, see if the trees did whatever. But it has its perks with this too, like coming through SMZ or something, you're trying to get trees around, you know, you can kind of see how close you can get, you know, the top of a tree. Same way with the camera in the back, you know, if you're swinging close to something, you can hit your button and swap your camera over to your back one, and you can see, you know, if you're close to anything on your rear or whatever, and that helps save the back end, you know, from getting scratched up and everything else. Put our shackles on there, which we do it on all our shovels and cutters, just for, you know, in case you have to hook a winch to you, or if you have to help a tractor get out, they got to hook their winch to you, whatever, you can always, you have something to hook to. Makes it a little bit easier than just hooking onto the tongue there. Like I said, this is a 36-foot boom, live heel, which means the heel, you can move it back and forth, which all our loaders now are running live heels as well. Back in the day, they just had a fixed heel that was bolted to the boom, and that's what you had. But now, you know, you can kind of heel a tree up if you're trying to get the top out of the mud or something like that. It helps. We run all Rotobeck buckets on all our loaders and shovels anymore, and that's because we've had the least downtime with them, I guess you could say, and they always hold up good, especially back here in the mud and water and everything else. They hold up pretty good. This one's actually bigger than what we keep on our loaders, because the machine has a little more power than the loaders do, which all of them run the same engines anymore, but they're just always spec'd out a little bit different. But especially when you're picking up a big tree or swinging a big tree around, that big bucket comes in to help a lot. And a lot of people probably wonder what this little red thing is, because you don't see it on my shovel, or I say my shovel, my old shovel, and that's because this is, I think they call it a snubber or whatever it is. Pretty much when your bucket starts going like this, it kind of helps keep friction on it where it won't barely swing as bad, and which I got so used to my other one, this kind of new to me that this bucket, you know, don't swing like my old one, but you just have to keep that tight, and if you see it start getting a little bit more play in it, you just come up here and tighten it up a little bit more here and there. And funny story, on both of our other ones, they had them and we took them off because my old one, I was by the deck one day and we were setting a new deck up, and I was moving some trees out of the way and helping pass mats to Dad and the loader. And when I did, I went to swing out to get a tree, and the bucket kept going, but the boom didn't. So that's because this thing here got loose and I didn't notice it, and it came right out and the bucket came with it. So it ripped all the hydraulic lines off and everything else. But I'm gonna try to keep a better eye on this one, and starts getting too slack, we'll cut it off and, you know, just put a regular pin in there and call it good. All our machines now, all our Tigercat machines, unless you get like an 870 or unless you have a smaller loader or smaller tractors, all of our bogey tractors, our 2 loaders, the 855 I run, or my old 855, the 855 cutter my brother runs, and this machine all have a they all have a 6.7 Fiat in them, and it's they've been great motors. We've had good luck with them, and they hold up. They do good. You can actually see this one now because it's actually clean. My other one has where mud is splattered on the inside, and I hate to get this thing muddy, but I know it's going to happen. Everything is pretty easily accessible to change, which we've got everything about down to a science now, because like I said, this is the same motor my 15's got in it. Everything is pretty much identical on the motor. They ain't really changed anything over the years. Which there's your exhaust. This is where your hydraulic pump and everything is. Feed your cylinders, your hydraulic lines and everything. That's the pump that has to run through. We've had pretty good luck out of pumps. Most time I don't know if we've ever, I think we may have changed 1 or 2 pumps over all the years. I mean, which we keep up on maintenance too. Every 250, 300 hours max, we're changing engine oil, fuel filters, air filters, the whole 9 yards. And that's the life of the equipment. The shovel we just sold had over the one we just sold a couple weeks ago had over 9,000 hours on it. And you could get it and run it and didn't have to worry about it. Some motors like that, you know, when they get a little older, they do start to burn a little bit of oil, and that would burn just a little bit between oil changes, but it wasn't bad at all. But every morning we get to the job, we check engine oil, we check our water or antifreeze, and we check our hydraulic oil before we even crank the machine. And that's to make sure, you know, everything's topped off before we go wide open with it. And we try to let stuff warm up for a few minutes, you know, and in the afternoon we let it cool down, and that seems to help save your turbo, and seems to be a whole lot easier on the motor over the years, especially when you plan on having something for years, you know. And most time our shovels, we run them for years and years before we upgrade, but they definitely take a lot of abuse being in wetland areas, and we try to keep everything up. We try to grease our whole machines every day, and that helps out a lot with your pins and bushings. We never have any problems with the pins, bushings, anything like that. It seems to help a lot with all that. The hood actually folds straight back and comes up, so that way you can stand up there and you ain't got to crawl down in there, and that makes it nice to access everything as well and check all your oils and everything else. So, and this one actually has the new, which they're covered in mud now, but Tigercat planetaries, which it seems to be a great walking machine so far. It walks a whole lot faster than my old one does, so I'm curious to see how they hold up as well. On the inside the cab here, we actually have 2 monitors, as you can see. And that one's my camera, where I can swap it back and forth with a push of my button right here on my joystick. And this one here shows me my fuel, my def, all my temperatures, everything. It'll show all your engine hours and all that. And it's got a lot of stuff you can access, look at. You can actually set some of the controls or move some of the controls around on the joysticks with it, which we got them set up like I do now. And I've just always ran a shovel the way our first one, or the way the first one I ever got on. And anyway, I've just always kept it that way. I've always been more comfortable with it that way. But I got open and close on my right, and turn left and right on my left hand, and then your left hand is your swing. Left to right is your hand swing, kind of set up like an excavator on that part, and then you got your booms on each joystick, and that's just kind of hard to describe. You know, it just comes natural when you get in here. This one has a lot better venting system, I guess I could say, as compared to the old ones. They kind of ran down one side, and this one has it, you know, on both sides. And well, I guess there's none back there, but they got it on the front here and then in the back. So they've done a lot of homework on these new cabs, feels like. And anyway, you got a heated and cooled seat anymore, which I haven't tried yet because I still left the plastic on. But they've done a lot of homework when it comes to these new cabs. You got all your AC and heat, your lights and everything, and they got it even now where you open the door and the light comes on just like your pickup, or you can cut that option off or leave it on, you know, when you got the door closed. But they've definitely done a lot of homework. The old one used to only have 2 speakers right here, and your radio is pretty much in the same place, but this one now has 4 speakers all the way around. So the sound system is definitely a little bit better quality. And they even come with the phone mounts now. Well, they came with one. I added the second one. But as you can see, I haven't even taken any of my tags or anything off. It's still fresh. I like to keep that new shovel smell there at least for a week or two. But this behind me, that's the private radio that me, my brother, and Jimmy always keep. And then these are just add-ons that hold some stuff, you know, kind of keep everything from being in the floor. And I put a little crate in the floor. I got an impact and my charger and everything else in. Got your CB over here, and you can't really see it, but it's ran down here. It actually came from Tigercat like that, and we just changed the antenna a little bit, and I just kind of put my mic where instead of having to pick it up out the floor, it was just more comfortable for me to get to on both sides. That way I got both mics easily accessible, you know, and you ain't got to completely stop and search for your mic. So that makes it nice. You got a little side door, you know, that opens, and they used to have it where the windows go down in the older ones. This one here, they just give you a little pocket up there to slide. That's about all the air you're going to get, so you hope the AC stays running in the summertime, or you'll probably have to be in here in your underwear, which I'd be lying if I'd said I hadn't had to do that before, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, it's nice. You got all your fuses inside the cab. You got all them in here where you pop that, then the other door slides open, and it's a super nice machine. It's hard to beat Tigercat as for the power they bring to the table and as for the weight they bring, because, you know, us being in wetland areas, you want the lightest thing possible that can do the job and be strong and, you know, handle the wood we're in a lot of times. And when it comes to that, a lot of competitors make great machines. I can't knock them for that, but the weight part is a critical thing for us, and the Tigercats just seem like they always come in with lighter machine with the same power that can do the same job and leave a less of a footprint, and that ain't gonna be breaking trees, you know, when you're walking on them or pulling yourself through the wetland. So that is a big deal when it comes, you know, to getting new equipment. That good?
Great.
Awesome.